like to introduce someone very special, someone who's been a great friend of the environment and a great friend of planting fields and state parks. It is my great pleasure to introduce the Commissioner of the New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation, Bernadette Castro.
Thank you so much. Well, this is a beautiful spring day. It's a little chilly and it's a little brisk, and thank you for being with us today. But the sun is shining brightly as we celebrate this, our 20th Arbor Day celebration. We are delighted to see children from Portledge here. All right, children, let me hear. They're a little shy. But we're here today, and I think it's so appropriate that we have children with us because our magnificent, magnificent beach died in February, our Fairhaven Beach. And the story was, for the children to hear and for adults as well, that in 1915, this beach came from Fairhaven, Massachusetts, because Mrs. Mayco wanted it. She had played under it when she was a little girl. And Mr. Coe wanted to surprise her, and they planned and indeed brought this tree and several other trees at the time. We're so proud today to have with us the granddaughter of the Coe family, who romped around in this beautiful Coe Hall and these beautiful grounds. And she's with us today. Sarah Coe, where are you? The granddaughter of the Coe family. We're delighted to have you with us. Thank you, Sarah. But guess what? We have the gentleman with us. He talked to me inside just now. Mr. Veracco. Mr. and Mrs. Veracco, where are you? All right, right there. Can you come up? Just stand for a minute. 92 and 93 years old. Mr. Veracco's father physically brought the trees over for the Coes on 2 barges. Then they were pulled by big, beautiful Belgium draft horses. So, Mr. Veracco, thank you for being here today. We appreciate the history and the story that comes with your presence. So to think that that wonderful tree came across the Long Island Sound on barges. But the tree we're going to plant today is a seedling, 6.5 feet. And it's a seedling that was propagated from the original tree several years ago by Vinnie Simeone. And Vinnie didn't introduce himself, but you all should know that he's quite a scholar, has written 2 books, and I know that this tree, this 6.5 foot tree, will live, right, Vinnie?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes, because we have a big ceremony here, Vinnie, okay? I don't want to be embarrassed, Vinnie. Arbor Day next year, this little baby's got to make it. Vinnie is a great, great guy, and we have a lot of fun together. As you can see, parks are fun. It's okay to laugh when you're in a state park, you know. And I was telling earlier that, just for you to know, and I won't go into detail, but Governor Pataki opened our 24th state park on Wednesday, our 25th yesterday in the Hudson Valley, 25 new state parks in the last 12 years, over 900,000 acres under George Pataki. So just wanted to tell you that good news. He's a great governor for the environment. The wonderful benches you see were made from wood taken from our original tree. And is Joe Schuster in the audience, the gentleman that made those benches?
Joe Schuster's not here.
He's not here. He's working?
He's working.
He's working, okay. And the benches, a cross-section from the trunk has been preserved. That beautiful, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's gorgeous. And that's going over to the Hopkinson?
The cross-section is being worked on right now.
But that will be there forever.
Yes.
So that magnificent, what do you got over there? The trunk? I could have thought of that, Vinnie, okay? I thought there was a glamorous word. The trunk that is left is gorgeous, and it will be there forever as a symbol of the massive size of the beautiful tree we lost. But for 10 years, our tree was nurtured. Its life was extended by Sal Pizzino. Sal, where are you? You took care of that grand old girl for 10 years. Well,
He's over there.
right over there. Sal, thank you. Thank you very, very much. Well, it's a terrific day, and Arbor Day, I'm going to talk to Portledge for a minute. Now, Arbor Day really stands, if you think of one word that's meaningful for Arbor Day, don't say it yet, but it's a 4-letter word and starts with T, and you know what it is. So when I ask you to fill in the blank, I want to have the Portledge students shout out the word. Arbor Day is about planting a tree. Nice. Nice. Well done. Well, right now I want to bring up Irene. We have a little interruption here in the program because Vinny has interrupted the program to do something. Vinny?
Well, first I'd like to invite Grace and Georgia up to the podium. Grace and Georgia, are you here? Could you come up to the podium? Two very special guests. Come on, don't be shy. These are very special guests, by the way. These are the grandchildren of Commissioner Castro. So let's give them a round of applause. Aren't they great? And Grace and Georgia, I'd like you to help us. We have a couple of very important seedlings here, and we'd like to give out a few seedlings from the Fairhaven Beach. First and foremost, to our wonderful commissioner who's been so great for us and great for parks. So first of all, Commissioner Castro.
Oh, thank you. Oh, that's great.
Secondly, we have Sarah Coe here, as the commissioner mentioned, and we are going to be donating one of the seedlings back to Fairhaven, Massachusetts, the town of Fairhaven, Massachusetts, and they're going to plant it in the town of Fairhaven. So, Sarah, could you please come up and accept the seedling for the town of Fairhaven, Massachusetts? And lastly, we will present also, Mr. Farraco, you don't have to get up, but we will have a seedling available for you as well. Your father obviously was very involved in the moving of the first Fairhaven Beach, and we thought it appropriate for you to have a seedling from the original tree. So thank you very much for coming.
Before the girls and I leave the platform, we have a very special guest that's going to say a few words. Anyone that reads Newsday knows the name Irene Virag. If you love gardens and you love flowers and you love wonderful stories from the heart, Irene is just quite a lady. She's the kind of lady you read her stories and her columns and you want to say, I'd love to go have coffee with her. I really haven't gotten to do that in 12 years. I've got to do it at some point. Please welcome a fabulous writer and a fabulous woman, Irene Virag. Let's make a date.
Thank you. What a lovely day and what a pleasure to be here. As someone who found all her tomorrows on Long Island, I'd like to start off by thanking everyone who works in our state parks and for our state parks. People like Bernadette Castro and John Norback, who make it all happen. My friend and mentor, Vinnie Simeone, who hugs trees and isn't afraid to admit it. Sometimes he even hugs me, too, and that's okay. Bill Barish, who works here, who knows where all the flowers go. And Paul Dose, who was also responsible for nurturing this baby tree and others. And a woman named Joyce, who always greets me at the front gate with a smile. Our state parks are our communal gardens, and perhaps the very core of our verdant island. They enrich life for all of us. It's hard to imagine Long Island without planting fields. It is that way for me, and so this is a love story. I have loved the Fairhaven Beach since I first saw it. It was a summer day when my hair was still black. I was new to Long Island and I stood beneath the tree's great purple canopy and felt as if I were in a secret world where wonders could materialize. I visited it regularly and the magic was always there. More than 20 years later, I learned that the great tree was dying. Newsday was doing a series called Long Island, Our Natural World, and the story of the Copper Beach became one of its centerpieces. Now, as we say goodbye to a landmark that inherited the wind and the rain and the sunlight for almost a century in this very spot, we are also saying hello to the sapling that will take its place. It is a sapling that grew from the mother tree, and someday it will emulate its parent. It will rise 60 feet in the air, and the shimmer of its leaves will sweeten the summer, and the symmetry of its silver gray branches will shine in the sharp light of winter. Other saplings are being planted elsewhere in this arboretum, and even beyond its borders. As part of the series, Newsday and the state parks held an essay contest. Michael Coe was one of the judges. A seedling of the copper beech was awarded to each of the 5 winners and was planted in a school or a park that they represented. The saplings are carrying on the tree's heritage at schools in Bayshore and Ronkonkoma and New Hyde Park, as well as in a historic cemetery in Patchogue and a community park in West Hampton. Through generations of the past, children were drawn to the Fairhaven beach. They danced around it and even celebrated its birthday. Newlyweds posed near it, and lovers carved their initials in it. It is warming to know that its descendants will live in the province of the young, that the magic will endure. It's also important to note that this ceremony of farewell and hello kicks off the park's 20th Arbor Day Festival, which will continue this weekend. What could be more appropriate? Trees stand tall in the ranks of nature's treasures. They are rooted not only in the good earth, but also in our history, our memories, and our hearts. Trees are our past and our future. It is that way with the Fairhaven Beach and the sapling we welcome today. This ceremony isn't an ending, it's only a chapter. And the romance of the Copper Beech is a love story for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. That was beautiful. She speaks like she writes, so I knew it would be beautiful. Morgan Brown is president of the Planting Fields Foundation. Morgan, come on up. I'm going to bring some special people up here, and then we're going to go plant. Elizabeth Watson, such an activist here and a foundation member. Please come on up. And the Paul Corporation, when you pulled in under that big banner, our primary sponsor, Eric Krasnoff, chairman of the board of Paul Corporation. Let's give Mr. Krasnoff a hand. Thank you, sir. Tom and Peter Golan of Wonderland Tree Care. Tom and Peter, come up tomorrow during Arbor Day. They're going to have harnesses for the kids who want to climb and know what it is to take care of trees. Give them a hand, Wonderland Tree Care. And hang on, we've got Martin Viette, who's also a sponsor. Doug Akerley from Martin Viette. Please come on up, and thank you for your support. From LIPA, Long Island Power Authority, Elizabeth Flagler. You too, please come up. So these are the folks, you know, you can't do it without public-private partnerships and friends who really, really help us. We're also, I can't leave the podium without thanking John Norbeck, our regional director, and George Gorman. Great, great people running your state parks here on Long Island. Here are our sponsors. Here are the primary volunteers. Give them one more big hand. And now we're going to ask the Portledge children and the folks up.
We also have a very special guest who just arrived. Smokey Bear is here.
Smokey Bear is here. Smokey, come up with the children. Smokey, come on over. Smokey was working on that fire yesterday. That was a bad fire we had on Long Island. Oh, he's doing some hugging over there. So with the Portledge children, Vinny, you will tell the children where to follow you, and we're going to go plant a tree. Thank you all so much. Okay, we ready? Okay, put the little boy on the other side of you, Gracie. Come here, sweetie. Okay.
We all have dirt on our shovels.
We all have dirt on our shovels.
Okay, on the count of 3, we're going to commemorate the new Fairhaven Beach. Are we all excited?
That's right. Nice.
1, 2, 3.
Yes, go ahead. Nice.
On the count of 1 and 3. 1, 2, 3.